Wayne again, the old Indiana farm boy. Getting on to the seat now on that Super 55. Gonna rebuild the seat here. It's long overdue. We've got the rubber spring and we got the bushing kit. Bushing and some of the pins are in that. So we'll have to start removing this old seat cover. Like it's been on there quite a while. It's all rotted and let's see what we got underneath there. Could be bad. Let me bring a trash barrel over here so we can catch all the trash. I know there's looks like there's some paper down in there and some straw. I don't know what all. Let me get that. We'll go from there. Yep, looks like long overdue. Get out my trusty French opal knife. Cut some of this loose. The padding here is long gone. I think that was some of the padding that was underneath there. It's lost its useful life. There we go. Yeah. Yep, looks like the seat needs a good overhaul. Brush some of that out of there and see what we got. Like she's about rusted through right there. I believe we can still make her work. Might be a good candidate to try it out on. Got a lot of pins. Look like they stuck a nail in here for a pin. Got roll pins here. I've had this soaking off and on for a good while and it seems like it's stuck. Bearings are waldered there. Let me give you another technical term. It kind of makes the seat cattywampus. That's cat for cat and wampus for wampus, cattywampus. Yep, pretty well. Wore pretty good. Well, let's see what all we got in the kit here. Alrighty. Pins, bushings. Yeah. Looks like we'll have everything we need there. Yeah, we'll try out this Rust-Oleum rust dissolver and we'll see how that works. There you can kind of see I brushed it on there. Yeah, we'll wait about 30 minutes and come back and rinse it off and see what we got. May have to do this 2 or 3 times. Okay, the head popped off. Now we'll see if we can drive that dude out of there. Yeah, that worked. Got it out of my hand anyway. Trouble is, it pushes that nail right down on top of the adjuster there. So I can knock it out of the way there. This is spinning. There we go. Popped her right out. Get these pins out down here. Drop this on. Well, it's a coming. Just a little bit smaller punch. There we go. There he goes. That pin's not worn too bad. Got a little wear. Not as bad as I thought it might be. Okay. That loose. Don't know why that won't come out of there. Don't see any other pins. Of course, if it just fell out there, it'd be too easy. There you go. Won't be long now. All right. good. Well, it seems to be working. Give her a little more time. It's really dissolving the rust pretty good. Impressive. I was able to take a starter punch, and that pin drove right out, but somebody in their infinite wisdom has drove a nail on the other side and cooked it over there, clinched it. So I got a cold chisel here. See if we can bop the head off of it and see if we can get that off there. It's dissolving the rust pretty good. I'll take it over and rinse it now. Probably have to give it a second application because there's still some heavy deposits there of rust. But we'll rinse it off. I'll give it another coat. Alrighty. Do this 2 or 3 times, we should get it down. And I can really get down and buff it real good with a wire brush and get her cleaned up, get her painted, decaled, and then we can start assembling again, changing get these old bushings out of it. Apparently this tractor is set out some time. This seat, the padding and the cover they had on it had really held the moisture to it right here, it looks like. It still seems fairly solid. We'll know more about it when we get the buffer on it and clean it up. We'll let that set now for a while. Sometimes you gotta put a little heat to them, get those pins out. Let's see if that helped. Bigger punch there. It moved partway up, but it's all of a sudden jammed up. A little coil there to see if that helps. Okay, we got that one. This tractor's been painted a time or two, and it's not looking too good. over there and we'll buff him down. See if we can get down to some bare, good looking metal, and maybe we can prime it up. I've seen these too where people was laid a plate in here and welded the plate in where it got soft. It's kind of reinforced here anyway. That's good enough. Okay, got most of the rust buffed out of it. Bottom side as well. Get some newspaper down. I got some rust type paint that will take care of that problem. They blame Medicare. Hey. Rust preventing paint. Alrighty. You always get that PMR 15 put on the rims on the inside. We were showing about that. And the rust preventative. Trouble, a lot of these old tractors had calcium in the rims, and doesn't take long when that gets to leaking, eat your rim up. Makes a good primer too. And I don't plan on letting this set out. I see so many tractors just sitting out in the pasture along a fence row, just wasting away. All part of our farming heritage. I mean, they're bound to set out a day or two when you're working in the fields, but when they set out there permanent, that's when she gets bad. Especially if a can or something you put on top of the muffler blows off, and you got a little ring gauge there allowing water right down into the cylinders, into the head and all around. This will give it a good protection. And it'll help this old seat last for years to come. Okay, we'll let that dry. And we'll do the other side. bait makes it a good seal. Get back on this part. These bushings out of here. Well, it's moving out. This rope pin, you kind of see here, this rope pin here goes through this piece here and into this bushing and this pin. So it all has to be lined back up when you put it together as well. But it has to be driven out before you can get this pin out of here. And that's what we'll do now. That way. I believe that's been in there a day or two, or 3. It definitely needs to be replaced. A longer punch. As you can see, that pin is wore out. Time to replace. Next, I'll remove these rope pins here on each side. And we'll remove that pin that holds the rubber spring there, seat spring. We've got to get this out too and get it freed up. It's been in there, it's stuck. Gonna have to probably heat that up a little bit to get it to move again. But we'll get this apart, get that spring out of there, get this split. Works much better when you get the right one. As you can see there, that pin's got some wear on it too. Pretty good groove right in there. Well, we can replace that as well. Let's split that out. There should be. If I get this come out there. This pin here needs to be popped out. Luckily I soaked this with crow oil. Kind of loosened it up some. This is split, have it made. There we go. That all needs to be cleaned up pretty good too. Some more washers and bushings. Now we're down to this. Moved. Show you what I'm doing here. This little adjustment knob here, there's a roll pin right here that I'm trying to knock out so that I can get this moved over out of the way and get the busted rubber spring here removed. Then I can get in here and clean this up, change these bushings out, and clean it up good. I'll probably paint it before we start reassembling it. You can see it needs all these bushings replaced in it. They're just wallered out. Get all that done, and we can start putting her back together and making her right. Smart. I have quite an assortment of punches. You get the right size punch, looks pretty good. Okay. And there's that. And the problem the whole time anyway, that's, you can see how that is separated there. and that's what's caused it not to have any spring in this seat. When you sit on it, it's just thud. Go there. And then I'll put some more Corolla oil penetrating over there and let that soak for a while. The threads, they don't look bad. I think it's just been sitting on there so long they probably rusted in there. And that's what's causing a lot of the problem. This may have never ever been replaced. I don't know. You would think the age it would have been. But usually the threads look pretty good, but this is just kind of rusted to the threads there. Here's some bushings here at the back. Part of it. This needs to be straightened up here where it's bent. Evidently they've tried to force it, and they've bent the adjusting rod here. What I'll do is I'll heat this up a little bit here and see if we can hold it and get it to slip off after I soak it for a while in Corolla oil. Okay, I was able to tap out this bushing on this side pretty easy. And you can tell this one's wore out right here on this angle, but this is not too bad. So see if we can pump that out of there. Take a punch in my hammer and tap that out. Another thing I noticed when we were taking it apart here, this is why it was kind of cattywampus. Again, that's cat for catty and wampus for wampus, cattywampus. As you see here, this is evidently broke at one time and somebody has welded it and didn't quite get it squared. But it did work, so I think we'll go ahead and try it the way it is, put the bushings in it, and put the thing together. Also, the seat, part of it, came out pretty good. Got it all painted. Pretty good shape. So, we get this together. We'll wash these up, paint these parts. Parts over here, we'll clean them up, paint them as well. And then we'll start the assembly. There he is. Not wore out all the way, but it was close. Now we'll see if we can get this unscrewed. Been on there a long time, so I'm going to heat it up and hold on to it with a pair of vice grips to see if I can get this to turn. Been soaking now for a couple, 3 days in Corolla oil. It's a penetrating type oil that creeps. So we'll see if we can get that undue. plan comes together. There we got her all. I'll clean the threads up, clean this up, and see if we can straighten up this end here, and we'll go from there. Okay, we got the threads cleaned up, and we got the T-handle here, the adjuster straightened up, so I think we're pretty well good to go with that. All right, been cleaning up the parts in the parts washer, getting the grease off, so now we can clean it up, do some sandblasting and what we need to do there, and get these parts painted. Some of that old crud that's built up onto the last 50 years or so. It's almost 60 years now. Yeah, looks a lot better. Okay, we got all the seat parts all painted, ready to reassemble. Okay, those bushings are installed. You can see how these are kind of reamed out too. Have to do a little measuring there. They give you a little extra on the shoulders of these bushings so you can machine them down to size and get a perfect fit. Show you that right quick. Just a piece goes in there. As you see, that is very tight on this one. Basically, there's no room in there at all. No room in there at all. It's just snug as a bug. The bushings have these shoulders, and this goes on the inside, and they give you a 1/4 inch there, and we have nowhere near a 1/4 inch on the inside. So I can put these in a lathe and trim these down. Quarter inch, there's just no room in there for that. So we can put those in a lathe and thin these down quite a bit. I think one of the reasons we don't have any gap on each side here is when this was repaired and they welded this on, they put a piece in there that was actually a little narrow. You see how they did an excellent job of welding here and here, but they have, and it's sprung a little bit anyway, so that leaves us virtually hardly any gap. So we'll have to take those bushings down quite a little bit. Okay, we'll start putting the bushings in. Just set it over the vise here, tap it in place. You can kind of see that it had wallowed out a little bit there. So we'll tap that in to it be tight. And we'll do that on the other side and we'll have her done on that one. Okay. Might want to note these shoulders go inside as kind of a wear bearing. And they help take up some of the slop. You can see there how this is wallered out a little bit. Let's try to get that one tapped in a little better. So basically we've got to take those bushings down to about half. Instead of having a 1/4 inch, we only need about an 1/8 of an inch. I'll pop those out, make them, put them in the lathe, and we will trim those down. 0.125, okay. Bushing here measures 1.2425 right in there. If you take that down to about half, you want about 62. So we'll trim that down on the lathe. Now I realize not everybody has access to a lathe. Already got the first one started there. But it can actually be put in a vise or something. It can be filed down with a file. If you have a belt sander, you can use something, better wear gloves, they do get warm. But you can file them or sand them down as well. But I have the lathe, so I'm going to use it. All right, I'm already down to 81, so we got a little bit more to take off. Easy does it. Where we're at now, and we're at 74. I got to get that down about 10 more thousandths. Been taking it about 5 at a time. Getting pretty close. Matter of fact, I'm going to try it just to see what she does there. Faced her all pretty. pretty close to half. Let's see. Wallered pretty good. As we see if my estimation's about right. Yep. Still need to take just a hair off this one and then take this one down that much as well. So that's what we'll do. We'll go over here to the lathe, take up just a few more thousandths off this one, and take this one down to 62, and that should be right on the money. And if it isn't, we always wish it had been. Got that down to 62. So we'll do the other one. We should be in pretty good shape. Okay, let's see what we got here. Holes are really watered pretty good. Still pretty snug. But I think we can make her work. And there you have it. Bushings are in place. Now we just drive the pin. Remember, that pin's got a hole in a certain spot. There's a roll pin goes through that hole here into the pin, and that's what holds it all together. Right there. Now, one thing I noticed on this, they had installed a bolt they had drilled through here. I don't know if that was to pull that together or what, but I removed that even before I measured it for the bushings, because that's not supposed to be in there. That's not on my 550, and it's not on my other Super 55. I'll show you on the other old Goldie here. As you can see there's no bolt through there, no holes or anything. That's just something somebody has done throughout the years to add that on there. One thing old Goldie's got going for her, this seat is adjustable yet. You can still adjust it. It's still pretty fair shape. So I'm happy with that. Although we got an awful lot of work to do to her to bring her back to first class luster. I had it sitting out there in the breezeway there a little bit, and the birds loved it for a roost. Okay, we've got the paint dry now. So that was a good time to put the seat decal on, which will go right there. Alrighty. See if we can get that down there. Find a And there we have that. And there we have our decal installed. Okay, now we'll install this part Make any difference which way that goes. And there's that. And what I did here on this pin here, I chamfered that just a little bit on a grinder. Put it in a starter punch here. And there we go. Get another punch. Be over here be easier. There we go. And there's that piece. Remember, this has got the offset hole here, so that pin that will go through here, you want to make sure your pin has a hole on this side of the pin so you can line that up. There it is. Again, I put just a little bit of a chamfer edge on that to help it to get started. Make sure I get this hole lined up good. There it is. Now you can put this in either way, but a little handier this way. Oops. That's not good. Now we can put our rubber spring on and hook it into the bottom frame, and we'll have her close to putting on our side parts. And we'll have her gun. Okay, hope you can see this a little better. Again, this pin has to be going this way and line up with the roll pin. There we go. Now we get a pair of pliers. Line up. And there we have it. You can see here I've got this pin here. You can go down just a little further. This pin here lines up the hole in the top. That locks that all together. So now we can put on our rubber spring and mount it in the cradle. Get our pin in. We got the pin through. Now we're putting the roll pins in through that pin to anchor it in place. Now on the 550s, this is a bolt, got a kind of a carriage bolt head that goes through there. That's just one little upgrade they did on these, but virtually the 55 and the 550 Olivers basically have the same seat setup, parts interchange. The kit though, if you do buy one for a 550, it is a little different because of this bolt here, but it's virtually the same other than that. So if you get a 550, there is one for 550 and there is one for the Super 55s. But virtually they're the same in the way they get rebuilt. Okay, roll pins are in place, the pin is in place. Now let's see if we can get this straightened up. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to take it over there and put some NICs and run that through here, and get those threads cleaned up and get them where they won't seize up and rust up anymore. Stuff can get kind of messy, but this ought to work pretty good. Make it a lot easier to adjust the tension on that rubber spring. Give you a better ride. There we go. And keep it from seizing up on you. If you recall, we had to use heat on this to get it to loosen up. There we go. Be a lot better ride when we get this all together. It used to be when you sit down on it, it was just a thud, and there you were, no give. Whatsoever. Just like sitting on a slab of concrete, and then when you hit a bump or something or other, your old tailbone felt the jar all the way up through your backbone, right up to your brain. It could really drive you insane. All right, got that loosened up. Never seize ought to help it. Clean that paint off. That's paint just enough thickness there to cause you a lot of headache. second. See if I can pull that down. Back on. Okay, got that on now. Okay, now we'll put these bushings in. Burrs out there. Take that paint off. Okay, let's see here. That's good. It's as snug as a bug in a rug. Okay. Get a little grease on that. Kind of help it. Okay. Okay, I think we're ready to put the little levers on the side here. Put a little grease in these two. Pressure washer. Okay. See if we can get this together. Our goal here is to get this on here and this in this sleeve down here, all at the same time. So get this in place. Good thing that is a little snug, because then that'll hold while I'm putting that together. said and done. Just line it up. Washer. And a pin. See what we're at up here. But this will be a lot easier since it's already up in place. Bush again. Did put a little grease on them. Alrighty. Get that in there a little better. That's not in line. Kind of an assortment here, if I can find the right ones. That's how those work. Put them right in there and hold them right in place while you tap them in. Hold it for now. Yeah, so get this in all right. That's handy. Make that a little easier. Okay, there's that one in place. Another washer. Do. Oops. That's funny. Well, that didn't turn out the way I wanted.
But what's life without a challenge?
Yeah, if we keep that washer back. And there we are. There's one. Too small. Okay, let me chamfer that a minute. Won't really have chamfer. Okay. That one drove in. Okay, we got that one in. right over there. A little chamfer on that one. And there he is. And now, that's done. Okay, we're ready to put the seat back on. Get this nut off. So I can get it back up in there. Sit there so I can drop it and lose it. Okay, get that back up in there. Hold that. Or get the seat in. Alrighty. I think, by Joe, I think we've got it. Winter blast come in last night. Got down to 27, blue snow. We've had our first snow of the year now. 10th of November, 2025. Okay. Get up here and see a little better what's going on. If you can see right here, the front of this, there's a little tab that comes up out of the top of the tractor, and it has to go in this groove on this bottom part of the seat frame. And then we got this one bolt back here that I'm attempting to tighten down. And once we get that tightened down, we will have a little spring in our seat instead of just a thud, like riding on no suspension whatsoever. Now we'll have a little suspension. A little more of a comfort ride. Alrighty. We'll see how that does. All I have to do then, if I need a little more, a little more substantial there, I just crank this around now and tighten it up. Yeah, before this was just sitting right on top of the hydraulics right there, and wow, no give whatsoever. Looks better with that Oliver on there too. Alright, see if we do some adjustment. Oh baby, yeah, better than that solid hit. Oh yeah. I'll get a pad ordered for this and be in pretty good shape then. Okay. Well, there you have it. We now have a little spring in our seat. And we needed it. Well, I hope this video helped you out there, see how to rebuild a Oliver Super 55 or a 550 seat, and how to make it adjustable again and put a little spring in it. Yeah, we're in pretty good shape now. Okay, well, that's all I have for you today, folks. Hey, Please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye now.